Hey, this is Robert Jackson, and thank you for tuning in to Station Square. I am still in a Sonic type of mood, as you can see everywhere, but yeah, I just really love the series. I've been in a big kick. But anyways, not important. Welcome to the show, and today we're going to be chatting with somebody who has been working in the industry for quite a long time. They've done a lot of voiceover. They've done, you know, a little bit of everything. So I'm not gonna go on a long list of like their resume of what they've done. So this is somebody that you may have heard of, and they have a website and everything. So we have Mr. Everett Oliver just sitting with me today in his neat, fancy little background. So thank you so much for joining me, my good sir.
You're welcome. Thanks for being patient with me with all of my stuff.
No, dude, it's no worry.
Too much, too much, this is too much. Let's start it off.
Yeah, let's just. Don't worry, no worries.
I'm trying to pull up my Simpsons shirt so that way it seems like it's legitimate. So
Yeah,
that's
I mean, like, I'm literally wearing this on, so it's like, this is literally, we could be casual, we could discuss the business, but you know what? We kind of just,
we just do.
we all love media,
We just do.
TV shows, and games, but anyway, let me see. So, I guess with this year in particular, like, I know that you've been really busy, so what is something that you want to discuss and talk about, like, as far as, voiceover go is concerned, and just anything that you wanted to discuss, for this year in particular,
Well,
since this is November.
it's been a great year. A lot of it's been going on in the world, and
I know.
a couple of things that I would say that people are not aware of, and as far as the voiceover business is concerned, is you need to make your business according to how the world is gonna fit your business. I think people are so busy trying to, book jobs and demos and cranking that stuff out. But you have to remember, this is show business, and this is a business. And as the world keeps changing around, you have to shift your business. So, I had to dramatically shift my business. When I first started, I was traveling a lot, and and I was meeting people in person and getting to know them, and seeing what can how can I my services help them, utilize them to get them to where they want to be. So that's one of the things that I want to talk about a little bit about that I just mentioned. Um, you still have to do the necessary coaching. I think it's important that some people don't realize that you know being at an agency for a long time and you're not booking, that sometimes is it's time to move on to a different agency. You're not really hurting the agent's feelings, but it's a simple way of saying that that either they served you as much as possible, but you've got to take ownership of your career. And I don't think a lot of people are doing that. I think a lot of people are just trying to get on these rosters and allowing the producers or casting people to, find them work. And it's up to you as the individual to find that work. So that's really what I want to, emphasize and stuff like that. So
Totally. And I know that you've been doing this for well over 25 years and counting. So, what would you say is, when you coach and teach, actors about, the business of the business, like what is something that you really enjoy the most? And what is something that you also learn along the way with working with, students and, when you're coaching new actors on their paths and, their journeys of, you know, navigating through this, in the industry.
what I really enjoy, even though they stress me out, is people's personalities. If I click with your personality and I really understand who you are, I can get you to where you need to be. That's one of my, greatest accomplishments. Coaching them and understanding them, and like I said earlier, their personalities. I look for people's personalities. I'm looking for the acting. I'm looking for something that's unique that's going to make them stand out. Auditions, when they, I'm seeing clear pictures of people when they're auditioning, they're not getting it, but I have to physically now show them um, what they're doing wrong or what works for them. So that's a physical ailment that just has hit me within the last few months. So that brings me, great joy. And then, I do mentor, a lot of people who are, they know they're not on the right track, or they've been doing it for a certain long, period of time, and they're not getting anywhere. That brings me something of, okay, for me to guide them, towards the right direction, or put them in front of people who is a great fit for them. So it's that aspect of the business that I do. I'm producing more and directing more and demos and stuff like that for animation and commercial demos. That's, starting to bring me, great joy to seeing this whole process, doing it. To me, it's like a film, putting a film together, but it brings me the great joy to see the range, to see what actors and stuff can do, um, on their demos. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah, right on. And it's really good that you've been keeping yourself productive and, very, and like you're working on so many different, like, you're focusing on directing and you're still producing the demos like that. Um, with all of this that you've been doing, like, what is something that really helps you when it comes to staying on top of, your daily routines? Like, you have a schedule of like, okay, so I got this, and then I'm doing the voiceover stuff. How do you stay on top of everything?
Um, Meditation, one, uh, a good Google Calendar, two, long walks, three,
Oh boy, I can
four,
definitely relate to the long walks. Yeah.
long phone calls to a really good friend of mine's that,
Hmm.
complain about whatever my day is going. But I do. Me dropping papers all over the place. But I have everything in stacks, in piles, in folders. Um, but the Google Calendar really works for me. Um, Short trips work for me. Anything that keeps me grounded and keeps me focused. But the meditation is really a thing that I have to really sit, because things tend to, hey, you got Robert at 1 o'clock. Oh, okay. Because sometimes when I wake up in the morning, I don't look at the calendar. I'm just like, oh my God,
Oh
I
boy.
forgot I got Robert at 1 o'clock.
Gosh. My God, yeah, I've been there, man.
So it's a thing
Oh,
of,
not
you know,
fine.
reminders, emails.
Mm.
Yeah, it's just that. It's the motivation, it's the passion. It's really a passion.
Hmm. Yeah.
I'm looking to do more, get more into, doing some more projects and casting and stuff like that, which is coming up. So, that's what it is. That's what I think the name of the game is for me, that keeps me going. Helping people and serving people is what the purpose that I'm supposed to be on the planet for. Um, and there, I can tell you from there. Hmm.
Yeah. And I'm just gonna avoid like, how did you get started, blah 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 blah. But um,
Luck,
for you, I'm
luck,
sorry?
luck. Luck is how I got started, just luck. I soaked up everything like a sponge. Working on, if I could say, it's probably the wrong, working on this show here, it was all luck. It's all luck and timing. That's what I can emphasize to people.
Pretty much, yeah.
Timing. You just have to be at the right place at the right time. You just have to know people. You have to network, and you have to be patient. That's how I got started in 25, and actually, I'm giving it going 30 years. Um,
Yes, I
and
will be back. Wait, hold on. Sorry.
it's
I'll be
okay.
back. Interruptions. But anyways,
So it's all about luck and timing. It's all about you being driven. You have to find, and I will say this, which is important, you have to find a support system. It's not a support system of, your family and your friends. You need to find a support system of people in the industry who understands the day to day of what you go through. It's almost kind of like a weekly chat, where people get together and they do workout groups. It's a little bit more than the workout groups. Find you a collective core of people who you can go ahead and just maybe give a phone call to, or if you do a quick chat just to check in with people. I think those are the groups that will help you keep going on your day to day and stuff like that, because you're gonna have up and down periods, in your life. And so that's what's happened. It just so happened for me, coincidentally, my friends all worked in live TV. So we got together and had small parties just to check in with one another. As we got older, of course, we've all went our separate ways, but I'll still have our small core group of friends. Some have passed on now in my age category, but I still have a little small collective group that I check in with people just so, to see what's going on.
Oh yeah, yeah. And it's really about like, for most of us, I literally just wrapped up an interview before this, and we were just discussing like in the industry, like I know it can feel a little lonely sometimes, like, just being in a booth and especially during the course of the pandemic where so many of us were just recording literally from here. So it's kind of like we kind of do we love, what we do, but I think with guidance and help and, with, you know, some friendships that you make along the way, it really goes a long way. Like you never know what type of, and that's what it all comes down to. Like pretty much knowing the people in the industry and research and you never know like literally it could happen. Like you could go to a conference, like let's just say that, and then you meet somebody that you click with. You just
Absolutely.
never know what's gonna happen. Like I will always say that this industry, like you mentioned, is full of luck and sometimes a few surprises can come your way, but sometimes those surprises can be some of the best ones that can really change the trajectory in your career in a good way. It
And you have to
depends either way. Yeah.
totally have to do the work. You can't just depend
Yeah.
on an agent or a manager. You have to really
Mm,
physically, you have to make time and passion for going to either a conference or a workout groups and stuff like that. This is not something that's just going to come easy. Find somebody who's going to mentor you, who you're going to click with. I have a mentor, and stuff like that, who I talk to.
yeah.
As far as running your own specific business, you have to, because other than that, you're gonna just be lost.
Yeah,
And
spinning your wheels. Yeah.
hmm so
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah. So for you personally, like, who would you often cite? Who would you say were some of your biggest, like, I guess, mentors or people that have helped you on your career journey?
For animation, I would say Charlie Adler, as far
Oh
as
my gosh,
directing
yeah.
and stuff like that.
Charlie.
Uh,
Yeah.
Sydney Clifton, who did the animation production, so she was like a mentor for me for the business side. Elaine Clark for my actual business per se. I would say um, I was probably couple of years into it, but she's really given me some really good advice as far as my business is concerned. Um, who else? Who else mentor wise that I can think of? I mean, there's a couple of people who obviously I respect, who've been doing this. I mean, there are people in different other genres. Tom Pinto, who handles narration. Um, I don't want to rattle off everybody's name because then they're like, Everett, because I know so many, know so many other people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
make a phone call.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
I,
you
I
didn't
did
mention me
see.
on Station Square.
Yeah,
How dare
yeah.
you?
How dare you went on there and you what you got? I can totally hear it now. Mark Scott, or
Oh
or
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm seeing somebody else too for marketing. So it's just tons of people.
Yeah.
And I have referred people to other people as well. And I like I said, and my name blanks out all the time. hmm
Dude, it happens all the time for me
I
too.
did
Yeah.
respect Tim Friedlander, and the stuff that he does for the community. He's really active. He runs his own business and his own company, but he's created this empire, with a team and stuff like that. Who I, said it to him at an event that I just saw probably about 2 or 3 weeks ago. That he's really built something, and he's hasn't been doing this long at all. Um, so it's those kind of people who I look from. I'm a type of person that looks from stuff from the outside in. I'll tell you a little bit about that. So even um, if I don't see them, I'm following from afar who I do admire and respect, and stuff like that. So that's just me. I'm a direct person, and people could tell um, that I'm going to speak my truth. Dave Walsh, he's one that who people that I know who are going to go ahead and is going to tell the truth about what does it take to thrive in this career, because this is not an easy profession that what we do. So these are, like I said, there's tons more people who I do look up to and respect that, and I know I threw two names out, but
Yeah.
there's others. So
Um, but yeah, it's so good. It's really cool to have a lot of people that are inspirational, that are there in your corner, just cheering you on. But and I know it's definitely the same when you want to help students, with their careers and with everything else that you do for like demo production and navigating the industry and knowing the showbiz. So. Let me see. I guess for you in particular, like I know you've worked on so many shows like Simpsons, Disney, and all of these big companies. So, what would you say is some of the most, fulfilling, just the best projects that you've done that remind you why, oh my gosh, this is why I really love doing this.
I
This just makes me fall in love with it all over again,
I think my
Like, I know we did discuss, like, how it could be like, but then some days where it's like, oh my gosh, this is why I love doing this. Yes, that's a good line.
I mean, the thing for me was I fell into it. Um, I was very young when I first started, so I was one that was just doing it. I wasn't a cartoon lover. I mean, when I was a kid, I watched Scooby Doo. I'm trying to think of the other stuff that I was a kid. I know I was a fan of that. I was a fan, Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids. You're probably too young to know who that was.
Oh, I know who that is.
The Brown Hornet. So those are kind of my eras. Flintstones, the Jetsons. Um, those are and there's something else, but I'm trying to go around it. Bugs Bunny was okay. Tom and Jerry was my favorite too. So for me, it wasn't like I had a childhood dream to come in. I just fell into it. So as far as your question, the projects that all of the projects that I've touched, that I've worked on, was kind of, for me. I think it was just the fact is that because I wanted to work in the live action side of the business, but the universe wanted me to work on behind the scenes in the business. So for me, it was an epiphany of when I went to go start my own business. I had worked on probably 20 something shows and did realize, because I kept going and I kept going and my energy level kept going. And so making transfers from production into casting and then working at an agency, it all just came full rounded for me, you know. And so my attitude is like, oh, okay, well, this is great. I have a body of work that is out there. And listen, I got credits for it. I worked hard for it. I kept my relationships. I build my relationships. I, you know, I'm one of one. I will say this, and I am one of a few African Americans who've been in this business for over 30 something years behind the scenes. I'm not going to say on camera. I made a name for myself in the voiceover industry. I'm one of few, Dave Fenoy, Michael Scott, Jason Laware White, one of few African American males who've done this business, and we're still, our names are recognized. Um, um, Portia Scott, female. There's not that many. Luann Regis. There's not that many of us who are in it. So that's one of the greatest achievements and accomplishments that I can say. To put it on, to put it out there to everyone. There's still more of us that's growing. That's moving forward, at least as far as people of color is concerned. So that's my story. you know People gonna come to me. One of the greatest accomplishments is people come to me for the truth, and that's just how I'm made up, or how I'm brought
Yeah.
into it. Is for me to go ahead and speak truth, and not going to give anybody any story, make up some story. I'm a storyteller. you know, whether or not I'm joking and making up a story, or I'm in my real life. I'm a storyteller. I'm creative. I'm intuitive enough that I read people really well. And that's just who I'm made up of. So those are the greatest accomplishments. And I have had a successful business in voiceover for over going on 8 years. So those are really the highlight, accolades of me working in, behind the scenes in the business. And I am starting to get recognized through my peers for my work, through demo productions and stuff like that. So, and I've
Yeah.
had a small collective team of people who assisted in that. So that's my biggest accomplishments. And there's more to come. I will say that. I will share that when it happens. So I'm just building and building and building.
Yeah. And take us because I know there's a lot that we could discuss about demo production, but if you could give us like a quick rundown of like everything that goes behind the scenes, what you mainly look for in an actor for demos, and if you want to also discuss like what are some of the biggest mistakes that actors make, and some of the achievements that they made, just everything about demo production.
The biggest thing about demos that I'm looking for is your acting. I'm looking for acting. I'm looking for comedy, nonverbals. I'm looking for people who do turns in their acting, real life. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for real life people who can give a solid performance of who they are, and show their true selves in their acting. And this is what I strive for my acting. I'm giving for ranges. I'm looking for something new and different. What I don't hear is I have people sounding all one note. That people learn how to read really quickly and fast, and they're missing the different levels. They're missing the comedy. They might not know what they're saying. They don't know what the meanings are. It's just they're just rambling through, and they think that, oh, I got this demo that I'm going to be able to go ahead and I'm going to get an agent from it, and the agent is going to look at it and go, no, I have somebody that sounds like you. You're not bringing something that's really unique and different. And so by going behind the scenes of what I do for the demos is that I have to go through the actor. I have to get to know them personally on a personal level, because I'm going to be working with them, and I want to see who they are, what they can do, and what's missing, and send them to people who can assist in getting what they're missing, and them coming back and us laying it down, from the scripts to the tapes. Are they watching cartoons? Are they, studying? You really got to be able to soak this up and study. If you want to play a teen, or if you want to play a kid, you got to be able to sound like a kid, and you got to be able to play like a teenie. So that's the stuff, some of the stuff that's, also that's missing, that they, if you're going to be an adult and you want to play a kid, you should be able to know what the kid, how the attitude of the kids, besides how they sound. Everybody sounds different from different levels, from, that age bracket, from, 7, 8, 9 to 10, 11, and 12, and stuff like that. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the naturalness, groundedness. Some could be, over the top. I want to see how over the top. I I want to see their vulnerability. I want them to be able to play. Some of that stuff I don't hear. Some of them I just hear them just making noise, and they're not connecting to making the words pop off the page. I want to see if they can make me laugh. I'm a big thing on if something makes me laugh, even if I do a small gesture. I'm like, oh, that's pretty funny. But I want to be the producer or the agent to hear that at least this person has some sort of comedy in their acting, because that's what they're looking for in animation. They're listening for all of that.
Yeah, that's a pretty good way of going into the whole behind the scenes process of everything. And uh, even with all of this in mind, like the fact that we're still doing this every day for a living, that's just a real blessing in and of itself. It really is.
Hmm. Exactly. Hmm.
Yeah. But what is anything else that you wanted to share or discuss? Like something else that you've been picking up as of late? Or just have you kind of, I think we kind of discussed like everything
I mean,
at this point.
I'm like I said, I have online classes that I bring in professional casting people. I had a great class last night. Of I put professional people in front of my students so that way they get a taste of what it is like in the real world. I'm known for that, and I give feedback to the students. So I think the thing that really stands out is I come from a place of I have a heart in the realism, and that has been said to me probably within the last, I would say within the last year, of people coming up to me and say, I heard all these great things about you, and that you're just giving it from a real perspective. I listen. I don't have the energy and I don't have the time to BS you. You're going in and you're paying thousands of dollars to have a successful career. So you might as well hear the truth. If you don't want to hear the truth, then you probably don't want to speak to me. But people can tell that I'm going to go ahead and be direct about it. And I guess that comes from me coming from the other side of the planet, because I was born and raised on the East Coast. And so I've lived out here on both coasts, and I'm a people person, even though sometimes I don't, you know, appear that way from behind the sarcasm. But that's just who I am, you know. And so I, speak my mind, when it's appropriate time, and I think people like that, of that directness. So I've had people who have reached out to me and have contacted me and said that they've want to work with me and stuff like that. So
Yeah. And those are kind of some of the, with everybody, like, your students reaching out and saying, thank you so much for helping me. That just gives you such a really warm feeling, like, you're leading them on the right track and, you're just doing the most you can in order to help people succeed because that's pretty much what this is. Like we all want each other to succeed and, just make our moves, I guess. I don't know how else to put it, but yeah. Um, and I know you have your website and everything, but where are you the most active on? From the social media.
I'm on all social media platforms. I mean, LinkedIn, and I guess you want to call it X, but I call it Twitter because I'm old.
Yeah, I don't even.
Instagram, all social media platforms. My email address is o my initials at voice acting director, all one word, .com. Um, um, my email, right? My voiceover, my website, blank it out, is voiceactingdirector.com. So that's my and I can always be reached. I usually, when people contact me, they should put, your name in the subject line so I kind of know where they might have heard me on the podcast, or who the referral is. I am one who probably will call you on a surprise. It's easier and it's faster for me to get in touch with you than me forming 4 or 5 sentences. because my ride is constantly going really fast. And so I'm the type of person that's, you need to tell me what you need on a very, like, hey, I heard you on this podcast. I thought you were great. I'm looking to set up something, and I'm like, great. I can set it up really quick, fast because I move that way. Um, and so that's just who I am, stuff like that. So they can reach me there. Everett Oliver. You just type in my name. You can do a Google search as well. Um, I'm on Facebook here and there, but I would, the real way if you're going to contact me would probably be through email. Email me or the Twitter, Instagram, or LinkedIn because I have too many people on Facebook.
Right. Yeah, I know how that be.
After a while,
Yeah.
you can't add load 15,000 people because I don't talk to everybody on Facebook. So it's probably easier for you to talk to me on those other social platforms.
Yep. And I guess with that said, I would have asked for some last bit of advice, but I think we've kind of covered everything. You've already shared some invaluable information, so thank you so much. And to everyone out there, have a good weekend, happy holiday, happy Thanksgiving. Like I don't know what your plans are, but make it extraordinary and fine. But until then, have fun, and that should apply for life in general with just anything that you do. But thank you so much, and I'll see you all next time. Catch you later.